They broke your heart? Smile. They underestimated you? Walk taller. They tried to shake you? Baby, you stood still. Because power is not in screaming. Power is in silence that echoes confidence. You want to win this world? Then learn this art. Act as if nothing affects you. Even if it does, let them never know. Because queens don't flinch. They evolve. They want a reaction, don't give it to them. Because the moment you react, you give them the keys to your peace. You hand over your dignity like it's on clearance. And for what? For a temporary outburst that only confirms their power over you? No, you're not made for that. You're not here to be predictable. You're here to be powerful. See, in school, when they teased you for being too quiet or too different, what did they really want? A reaction. The minute you cried, you gave them joy. The minute you explained yourself, you gave them control. But the day you walked past them, smiled like you're wearing victory, and didn't blink, that's the day they got confused. That's the day the power shifted. Because the truth is, people don't care about you as much as they care about how you make them feel. If your sadness entertains them, they'll keep hurting you. If your silence confuses them, they'll start fearing you. That's your choice. In relationships, ever noticed how some people intentionally withdraw just to make you chase? Or they say things with subtle poison just to trigger an argument? They want the drama, the chaos, the loud reaction, because that gives them a sense of importance. Don't give them that show. Let them sit in silence, in the discomfort of not knowing what you're thinking. That silence, it's louder than any shout. I remember a woman who got cheated on, completely blindsided. Her friends told her to confront him, scream, curse, expose him. But what did she do? She packed her bags, left a single note. Thanks for showing me your truth. Now I'll show you mine in silence. That man was shaken, not by her words, but by the absence of them. He expected war. She gave him a cold battlefield with no opponent to fight. And that's what burned him the most. You don't need to attend every battle you're invited to. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. When someone disrespects you, let them meet the wall of your indifference. When they gossip about you, let them choke on your success. When they expect you to fall apart, stand taller. There's a magic in mystery. People are addicted to reaction because they feed on validation. When you don't, Raji, your time is up. Your fate is in 15 people there. Your time is up. Your fate is in 15 people. There's something wrong. Your fate is in 15 people. Your fate is in 15 react. You starve their ego. You make them question themselves. Did I say something wrong? Did I go too far? Why didn't they fight back? You didn't fight back because you don't wrestle pigs. Because you've outgrown the need to explain your worth to people who never care to understand it. Let me tell you something real. When your boss tries to break you down with a sharp tone in front of others, they're seeking your collapse. They want your body language to show defeat. But if you breathe, pause, and respond with poise, you just reminded the room who really holds the power. Grace under pressure? That's not weakness. That's weaponry. Even in friendships, when they ghost you, ignore your messages, or play passive-aggressive games, they're hoping you'll spiral. They want that 3 a.m. text asking, "What did I do wrong?" They want you to beg, but when you don't, when you light your own candles, go to the movies alone, take yourself out for dinner and post it like a celebration, not revenge, that's a new era of strength. That's how you let them know they never broke you. They freed you. Because your reaction is your currency. Don't spend it on cheap moments. Let them wonder. Let them feel that void. Let them taste the flavor of being irrelevant in your peace. You don't need to win the argument. You just need to walk away like you've already won the war. Like you've already won the war. Would you like me to expand the next key point in the same style? Confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. Think about it. When someone walks into a room with their head held high, shoulders back, and their presence fills the space without them saying a word, that's confidence. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't demand to be noticed. It simply is. It's a silent power that speaks volumes. It's not about how much you say, but about how you carry yourself in moments when nobody is looking. Confidence is in your stillness. It's the way you move through life without apology, without over-explaining your worth, without needing validation from anyone. It's knowing who you are, what you stand for, and being okay with it, even if the world doesn't get it. Contrast that with insecurity. Insecurity is loud. It's the constant need to justify your actions, the desperate need for approval, the social media posts begging for likes, comments, and attention. It's the need to announce your worth because you're unsure of it. It's the voice in your head that whispers, "Are you good enough? What if they don't like me? What if they don't accept me?" The loudness of insecurity is felt in every action, in every word, in every glance you throw. It's a visible crack in your facade that screams, "I'm not enough." Think about that friend of yours who constantly talks about how successful she is. She talks about her career, her achievements, her travels. But beneath all that boasting is the hidden truth. She needs to make everyone see her success because deep down, she feels empty. It's the same with people who need to tell everyone they've been to the gym or they're crushing it in life. They're not telling you because they're proud. They're telling you because they need reassurance. Confidence, on the other hand, doesn't need to prove anything. It just is. It's the quiet person sitting in the corner of the room who's not desperate for anyone's attention, but who commands it anyway, simply by being comfortable in their own skin. That's confidence. In the workplace, you see it too. The loudest person in the room, the one constantly talking about their ideas, trying to make sure everyone knows what they've done, they're not truly confident. They're covering up their fear of being overlooked, their doubt about whether their contribution really matters. The quiet achiever, they're the one whose work speaks for itself. The one who delivers results without the need for a grand announcement. They don't need to shout about their skills because their competence is loud enough on its own. The silent achiever's power is in their actions, in their results, not in how many times they boast about their success. And think about love. The insecure person is the one who constantly seeks reassurance from their partner, asking over and over again, Do you love me? Do you think I'm pretty? Are you sure? It's the person who doubts every compliment, who needs their partner's constant attention to feel validated. But the confident partner, they don't ask for validation because they already know they are loved, worthy, and enough. Their presence alone creates a calm, unshakable foundation in the relationship. And that is what their partner finds magnetic. Confidence isn't demanding love. It's radiating love because you already have it from within. The loudness of insecurity is a reflection of the void we try to fill with external validation. The quietness of confidence is a reflection of inner strength. When you stop looking outside of yourself for validation, when you stop needing people's approval, you realize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone's opinion of you. The minute you stop proving yourself, that's when the world will start seeing you for who you truly are. Strong, capable, and beautiful, inside and out. So, stop feeding into the noise of insecurity. Stop letting it control your every move. The next time you feel that nagging voice inside telling you you're not enough, remember, that voice is loud because it's scared. Confidence, on the other hand, is quiet. It's still. And it knows its worth without having to shout it from the rooftops. Control what you show, not what you feel. There are moments in life when the world seems to come crashing down around you, when everything you've worked for is put to the test, when people betray you, when you're faced with heartache or failure. In these moments, the urge to express your pain, to let the world see your vulnerability, is overwhelming. But here's the thing. Your pain is yours to control. You don't have to wear your hurt like a badge. You don't have to let the world see your struggles. Because the truth is, no one deserves to feed off your emotions unless you choose to let them. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and you immediately know they've had a bad day? Their energy shifts the whole room. The weight of their emotions is heavy, and without even opening their mouths, they communicate everything about their struggle. But then, there are those rare people, the ones who show up even when they're hurting, even when everything around them is falling apart, and you wouldn't know it unless they told you. They carry their pain with grace, not because they don't feel it, but because they've learned that the world doesn't need to witness every tear. There was a woman I knew who had gone through a painful divorce. The kind of heartbreak that leaves you shattered. But you know what she did every day? She showed up at work, walked with a smile, and kept her dignity intact. Her eyes weren't vacant with sadness. They held purpose, strength, and determination. People knew she was going through something, but they didn't know the depth of her struggle. They didn't need to. Her power lay in her ability to show up despite it all. In her decision to control her reactions, to not let the world dictate how they saw her. The day that she set away from her work, she found a dark memory in her heart that she was going to be okay despite it all. In her decision to control her reactions, to not let the world dictate how they saw her. In her actions, she wasn't overpowered to create her own life. The suggestions for the day go as follows. Decide what to do. She didn't hide her pain. She simply chose to protect her peace and not give her vulnerability to people who couldn't appreciate it. I see it all the time in the business world too. The strongest leaders are often the ones who lead with poise, even when the weight of responsibility is pulling them down. A manager can be having the worst week of her life, but when she walks into a meeting, you wouldn't know it. She doesn't allow her struggles to define how she presents herself. She focuses on the goal, the task at hand, and does not let the pressure shake her. She knows that showing vulnerability in the wrong moment can create chaos, but that doesn't mean she doesn't feel it. She simply understands that the world around her doesn't need to be burdened by it. In relationships, how often do we let our emotions dictate how we react? We get angry, upset, hurt, and we want to shout it from the rooftops. We want to throw all our feelings at someone, demand answers, make them understand our pain. But here's the truth. When you let your emotions spill out uncontrollably, you lose your power. You give the other person the ability to manipulate or dismiss how you feel. Instead, control what you show. Show strength even when you're on the brink of breaking. Show patience even when you feel anger bubbling inside. Your emotions are yours to keep. And it's up to you to decide how much of them you let the world see. That doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you choose the right moment, the right place, and the right people to share them with. Think of the woman who's constantly being overlooked at work. She feels frustration building up inside. She feels invisible. But does she lash out? Does she show her frustration in ways that undermine her credibility? No. Instead, she channels that energy into growth. She works harder, smarter, more efficiently. She shows her worth through her work ethic and determination. She controls what she shows. Dedication, focus, excellence. Because she knows that actions speak louder than words. And when the time is right, when her efforts have accumulated, the world will see her shine without needing an explanation of how she got there. You don't have to let every emotion show. You don't have to share every hurt, every doubt, every moment of pain with the world. The power is in your ability to keep certain things to yourself, to protect your inner peace. Because people may not always appreciate your struggles, but they will always respect your strength. And the more you master the art of controlling what you show, the more respect you'll earn and the more powerful you'll become. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, remember this: your emotions are yours to keep. Don't let them dictate your actions. Don't let them control the way you move through the world. Instead, control what you show. Let your strength, your poise, your grace speak for you. Because that's where your true power lies. Don't let them read you like a book. Be a damn mystery. There's power in silence, in mystery, in not revealing everything about yourself all at once. Think about it. When you meet someone who's an open book, it's easy to predict their next move, to understand their thoughts, their desires, their weaknesses. And while transparency can be valuable, too much of it makes you predictable, accessible, and easy to control. When you let the world see all of you, when you spill your every thought, every feeling, every plan, you become too obvious. People know how to navigate you, how to manipulate your emotions, how to push your buttons. And why would you give anyone that kind of power? But when you're a mystery, when you keep some things to yourself, when you don't hand over all of your cards, you become unpredictable, you become intriguing, you spark curiosity, you keep them wondering. You leave them asking, what's next? And that curiosity, it keeps them coming back. It makes them want to know you more. But they'll never quite be able to figure you out. You don't have to be an open book. You don't owe anyone every chapter of your life. Sometimes it's better to leave a few pages for them to guess at. In the world of dating, think about the person who wears their heart on their sleeve. The one who texts constantly, tells you every detail of their day, their feelings, their dreams. At first it might seem charming, but over time you begin to lose interest. It becomes too much. It becomes exhausting. There's nothing left to discover, no mystery to unfold. But then there's the person who holds back just a little. They don't share everything. They don't answer every text immediately. They leave you wanting more. And suddenly, you find yourself wondering, what's going on in their mind? What's their next move? That is the person who keeps your attention. That is the person who becomes unforgettable. A few years ago, I knew a woman who embodied this mystery perfectly. She was intelligent, ambitious, and confident. But she never gave away too much. You could be having a conversation with her and feel like she was letting you in. But there was always something more. It wasn't that she was hiding. It was that she understood the power of withholding just enough. She never revealed her entire story, her entire game plan, her entire heart, and that made her magnetic. It made people want to get closer, to uncover more, but they never quite could. And that kept them guessing, kept them intrigued, kept them engaged. She didn't wear her emotions on her sleeve. And because of that, she was respected. In the workplace, this mystery is crucial too. Have you ever seen someone who over-explains themselves at every turn? They try so hard to justify their every decision, every choice, every action. It's exhausting to watch. It's as though they're begging for approval, begging for recognition, desperately trying to prove they're worthy. But when you remain a mystery, when you let your actions speak louder than your words, you become powerful. People don't know what you'll do next, but they do know you get things done. They can't predict how you'll approach a problem, but they know your solution will be effective. You don't need to overshare. You don't need to be an open book. You need to be the person whose presence commands respect without needing to explain yourself constantly. In life, being a mystery means you have control. It means you hold the power to choose what people know and what they don't. It means you hold the power to choose what people know and what they don't. And it means you hold the power to choose what people know and what they don't. And it means you hold the power to choose what people know and what they don't. It means you hear the word no, and then you don't let people dissect your thoughts, pick apart your intentions, or judge you based on a single moment. Instead, you leave them with something to think about, something to wonder. You remain enigmatic, and that's what draws them in. People become obsessed with trying to figure you out. And in the process, they forget to judge you. They get lost in the mystery of who you are. And that's where your true power lies. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You don't need to share your every thought or feeling. You don't need to tell everyone what you plan to do tomorrow, next week, or next year. Leave something to the imagination. Let your actions speak for you. Be unpredictable. Be mysterious. And most importantly, never let them read you like a book. Keep them guessing. Keep them coming back for more. And in the end, you be the one who controls the narrative. Play cool, even when you're on fire. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us, sometimes all at once. And it can feel like the world is crashing down around you. You know those moments when your heart is racing, your mind is overwhelmed, and everything inside of you wants to explode? Maybe it's that one text you got that shook your world, that conversation that left you in pieces, or that project at work that feels like it's slowly suffocating you. Everything is burning, and you can feel the fire raging within you. The urge to react, to lash out, to let the world see just how much pressure you're under is overwhelming. But here's the thing. In those moments, your calm is your power. The most powerful thing you can do when you're on fire is to remain cool. When everything around you is crumbling, when emotions are running high, that's when your grace, your poise, your composure matters the most. You see, the world will always test you. It will push you, pressure you, force you into situations where you're tempted to lose control. And let me tell you, the world wants to see how you react. It's waiting for that moment when you lose it, when you show your weakness, when you let your emotions take the wheel. But the real strength, it's in how you respond. Think of a time when you were pushed to your absolute limits. Maybe it was a relationship that started crumbling. Maybe it was a failure that felt like the end of the world. In that moment, every inch of you wanted to scream, to cry, to throw in the towel. But you didn't. You didn't let the pressure break you. Instead, you breathed through it. You controlled your emotions. You held it together and chose to act with intention instead of reaction. That's where true power lies. It's in those moments where everything inside of you is on fire, yet you choose to remain calm, collected, and composed. You choose not to let the chaos of the world shake your inner peace. Let's talk about a real-life example. The woman who's being undermined at work, whose ideas are constantly being dismissed. She's talented, she's driven, but the pressure is building. Every day, she's being overlooked, and the frustration is consuming her. Now, she has two choices. She could lose her cool, snap back, let her emotions spill out in an explosive reaction, or she could play it cool. She could take a deep breath, keep her confidence intact, and rise above it. Every day, she keeps pushing, working smarter, and making her mark without letting the world see her pain. And eventually her results speak for themselves. She doesn't have to yell to be heard. She doesn't have to react to every slight. Her composure becomes her weapon. She plays cool, even when the fire is burning her from the inside. Now, imagine another scenario. You're in a relationship and your partner betrays your trust. The anger, the hurt, the heartbreak, it's all consuming. You could retaliate, lash out, scream at them, make them feel every ounce of pain you feel. But the person who remains calm, who doesn't let the rage take over, is the one who holds the power. By controlling the urge to react in anger, you give yourself control over the situation. You might not be able to control the betrayal, but you can control your response. And that is where your true strength lies. When you play cool, even when the world is on fire around you, you not only protect your peace, but you also command respect. I want you to think about a time when you watched someone handle an intense situation with complete composure. Maybe it was a leader, a mentor, or a friend. They didn't lose their temper. They didn't crumble under pressure. They remained calm, deliberate, and collected. And in doing so, they not only managed the situation with grace, but also gained the respect of everyone around them. That is the power of playing it cool when everything inside you is burning. It shows the world that you are in control, It shows that no matter what life throws your way, you won't be swayed by external forces. Your peace, your composure, your calmness is untouchable. When you can play cool, even when you're on fire, you become unstoppable. You become the calm in the storm, the rock that everyone else leans on. You don't let the chaos of the world affect your inner peace. And that is what makes you strong. Your ability to stay composed in the face of adversity is what sets you apart. It's what makes people stop and take notice. And trust me, when you're able to do that, when you can control your emotions in the midst of a storm, you will never be the same. You'll find strength in your stillness, power in your silence, and success in your calm. Let them lose you while thinking you're still there. Have you ever been in a situation where you gave everything you had, your time, your energy, your heart, but the person you were giving it to never fully appreciated it? They took you for granted, never truly saw your worth, and left you feeling invisible. You kept giving, kept showing up, but they weren't noticing. And what's worse, they didn't even realize they were losing you. The most powerful thing you can do in these situations is to walk away, not with anger, but with quiet confidence. Let them lose you, but let them think you're still there. When you remove yourself, when you step back and let them realize that you're no longer around, in the same way, you leave them with a sense of loss that's far deeper than any confrontation or argument could ever achieve. This, my friends, is a true act of strength when they're no longer able to have access to your time, your energy, your care. That's when they will begin to understand the value you brought into their life. It's like a person who never realized how much they needed you until they no longer had you. People will only truly understand what they have when it's gone. And that's not your fault. It's not about seeking revenge. It's about understanding your own worth and not allowing yourself to be diminished by someone else's neglect. Think about it. How often do we hold on to relationships that are draining us? We stay in places with people that are toxic, that aren't helping us grow, simply because we don't want to walk away. But in reality, you're just giving them the power to take from you without ever replenishing you. In these moments, the best thing you can do is to let them lose you without them even realizing it. You don't need to scream or shout or beg for attention. You don't need to explain your worth or fight for validation. You simply step back, reclaim your energy, and let the absence of your presence speak for itself. Consider the story of a woman who has been endlessly giving her time to a partner who takes her for granted. She's there for him day in and day out, but he never seems to prioritize her. She doesn't get the love, the care, the appreciation she deserves. One day she stops. She doesn't yell. She doesn't send a dramatic message. She doesn't even ask for more. She just withdraws silently and without fanfare. Her absence speaks louder than any words ever could. And slowly, he begins to notice. The calls go unanswered. The texts are ignored. He can no longer take her presence for granted. The emptiness of her absence begins to haunt him. And it's then that he realizes just how much she was worth. Just how much he's lost. But by then, it's too late. In life, we often find ourselves in situations where people take us for granted. It could be at work, in friendships, or in family dynamics. You're the one who always gives, always steps up, always makes sure everyone else is okay. But when was the last time someone checked in on you? When was the last time someone made sure your needs were met? Too often, we find ourselves giving endlessly with no return. And while it's natural to want to be there for others, you also need to remember your own value. By letting them lose you without even realizing it, you shift the power. You make them realize that their actions have consequences. It's not about playing games or trying to get revenge. It's about reclaiming your peace, your worth, and your sense of self. People will only value you when they recognize the void left by your absence. And if they don't recognize it, then it's their loss, not yours. I want you to think about the people in your life who may be taking you for granted right now. The ones who only reach out when they need something, who never check in unless they want something from you. Those are the people who will only begin to see your worth when they no longer have access to it. Let them lose you. Withdraw your energy. Stop giving endlessly. Let them feel the sting of your absence. And when they do, you'll be reminded of your own strength. You'll realize that you don't need to scream or shout to be heard. Sometimes, the loudest statement is made in your silence. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to walk away without a word, letting them lose you while thinking you're still there. So, here's the truth that you need to walk away with today. You are not defined by the people who fail to see your worth, nor are you bound by the circumstances that try to hold you back. In life, we often give of ourselves to people who don't appreciate it, to situations that don't serve us, and to dreams that seem so far out of reach. But I am here to tell you, you are not a doormat for others to walk all over. You are not a puppet in the hands of the world. You are the author of your own story, the creator of your own destiny. And it's high time you start writing chapters that reflect your true power. You have something within you that no one can take away. Your inner strength. People may try to define you by your circumstances, by the mistakes of your past, or by the opinions they have about you. But you are more than that. You are more than what they see. You are more than what they expect you to be. You are limitless. And the only boundaries you face are the ones you set for yourself. Now look at the world around you. Everyone is constantly striving for validation. They seek approval. They beg for attention. They demand recognition. But the true strength? It's in walking your path, head held high, without needing anyone's permission to do so. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Your value is not determined by how much someone loves you or how much they choose to acknowledge you. Your value is inherent. It is your birthright. And the moment you realize this, you step into your power. The moment you stop seeking validation from others, you give yourself the freedom to soar. Think about all the people who have risen to greatness in the face of adversity. Think about the warriors of history, the ones who changed the world with nothing but sheer belief in themselves. They were not born with magic. They were born with purpose. They didn't let the world define them. They defined their own fate. The same power lies within you. Remember, Every time you feel like you're losing control, every time life knocks you down and you feel like you're losing the battle, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is my story. I am the one writing it. No one else holds the pen. And if you need to walk away from people, situations, or environments that drain you, do it without hesitation. Be the person who leaves a mark without leaving a trace. Let them lose you, but let them think you're still there, because in your silence, they will hear the loudest message. Think about this. The strongest people you know are not the ones who always shout the loudest, or the ones who make the most noise. The strongest are the ones who remain calm in the storm. The ones who never let the world see them sweat. They understand that strength doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to be loud. It's in your actions, in the way you carry yourself, in how you rise when everyone expects you to fall. You are destined for greatness, but that greatness will only come when you decide to stop playing small. When you stop letting people use your energy without giving anything back. When you stop letting anyone control your narrative, that's when your real journey begins. And trust me, it will be magnificent. You will stand tall, no longer seeking approval, but instead standing in your own truth. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this moment, it's this. You are a force. You are unstoppable. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to stand out. The world might try to dim your light, but it will never succeed if you refuse to let it. Your inner power is like a fire that can't be extinguished. Play cool when you're on fire. Let them think you're still there while you rise higher. The world doesn't know your worth, but it will. It will see you when you stop waiting for it to see you, and instead, keep moving forward with grace, purpose, and unshakable belief in yourself. So let go of the old versions of yourself, those who have dragged you down, those who never recognized your worth. Walk away from the noise and keep your peace intact. You don't need to explain your worth. You don't need anyone's permission to rise, because the truth is, when you know who you are and what you bring to the table, you don't need anyone to validate you. You are enough, and the world will see that in due time. Let them lose you, but don't ever lose yourself. Your journey has just begun, and trust me, it will be legendary.